The film opens and we are shown a school where a teacher is delivering results in the class. Yasuka, a friendly nature girl, is the girl we see. However, she is a failure in the classroom. The test was simple, but she received 0 points. Her friend never makes fun of her, instead, he encourages her. He claims that 0 is her lucky number and don't be worried. When the teacher discovers this, he becomes agitated. He tells Yasuka that studying isn't fun, that her future is dark and that she won't find work. After that, a history test was given with a question regarding a monument that was well known for fulfilling wishes in exchange for a coin. She doesn't know the name. Yasuka is stuck and instead of leaving the paper blank, she decides to write a random name. She comes up with the name Gachamel. We see a light coming from a spot as she writes the name. There was a rainforest growing in the town, as well as many trees. There was also a jungle path there. The next day, Yasuka travels this route from there. She gets taken aback when she sees this new way that she has never seen before. They become curious and depart from this route. She discovers a shrine after going a little further. She offers a coin and wishes to achieve 100 scores on the next test. She doesn't think much about this. She arrives at school and receives the results of the previous examination. She receives a score of 5 out of 100, and she believes that her faith in the shrine's power, this actually doesn't exist. Later, a political test was conducted at the school. The first question concerned Japan's about the current prime minister. She is unaware of it and does not wish to leave the question unanswered. She writes her friend's name and answers a slew of other questions. She is completely unaware of this and decides to take a little nap. Later, Yasuka is seen returning home with a friend. She brought her friend into her house. When she arrives home, her parents were fighting. Yasuka tells him to ignore them and leads him into her room. We pass via another room where empty pots were placed outside. While on our way there, Yasuka has a twin brother, which we learn about. His academic record was excellent, and he had never failed a test. He always gets 100 marks. But one day he decides to take the high school entry test. Unfortunately, he fails the test. He consistently gets good grades, and people think he's smart. He fails the test, and he can't take it anymore. He locks himself in a room where he used to be and doesn't speak to anyone. In his room, he used to play games. We see Yasuka's teacher checking her test. He was writing her marks and suddenly light shines. That can be seen through the glass, and on the other side, we can see Yasuka waiting for a friend, who was late. When she phones him, he explains he is unable to attend because he is busy. She receives her friend's message of her classmate after she hangs up the phone. She informs her that Yasuka is in trouble because he has been chosen as Japan's prime minister. As prime minister, his photos are becoming popular on social media. When she gets to school the next day, she begins to feel concerned. That is how he obtained a grocery for her and rose to the position of prime minister. Later, the news was broadcast that various countries' prime ministers were missing, as well as where the presidents had gone. Later in the lesson, his teacher enters and announces the results. He is overjoyed when he presents Yasuka. He informs her that she has received 100 scores. Yasuka gets shocked because the majority of the questions were answered incorrectly. And if she left so many questions unanswered on the test, how did she get a perfect score? She knew she had become prime minister when she gets the test, because she had typed Yasuka's name as prime minister on her test. The previous presidents are also missing as a result of her leaving those questions unanswered. She learns that her wish, which she had received from the shrine, is coming true but in a unique way. However, she now understands that the world will work on her answers. She now wishes to fix all of the errors. She conducts a Google search and appropriately papers the results. It just so happens that her friend who became prime minister was sacked on the first day, and all of the lost presidents have returned as well. She had her maths test the next day, and she was unconcerned because she reasoned that if she wrote incorrect answers, nothing in the world could get so many wrong. She sees her friend the next day, and he tells her why he was being fired. Her secret power is revealed to her friend. He becomes president in this manner, but he does not believe her. He places a piece of paper in front of her to prove her power. She knows the tower is trembling before she can write anything. In fact, She gave an incorrect response on a math test. And it was because of this that everything happened. They both head to the teacher's room to look for Yasuka's test. They fix her error, and the tower no longer trembles. Many specialists are unaware as to why this tower was trembling. Yasuka afterwards wishes to visit the same shrine. However, when she arrives, she discovers that the shrine has gone. For Yasuka, it was now a problem. If she wants everything to go well, she must write each answer correctly. She doesn't want to cause anyone any problems. She reads and prepares for the test at night, but she too falls asleep after a time. Yasuka and her companion were standing outdoors the next day to see how many points they received from the teacher. It's the same thing they've gone through. He's given her 100 scores, she thinks. As a result, the world may face new difficulties. Her father was overjoyed when she returned home. He informs her that he had a lot of sales today. In fact, she claims that tap water is the most energy-dense source. People buy water to purify it for this reason. As a result, his father makes a lot of money. She says it's fine when she sees her father happy. She'll make changes in this after some time, but for now, let it be as it is. Later, she hears on the television that people are stealing water. When things started to get out of hand, she returns to her paper to make corrections and then everything becomes fine. She believes that through wielding this ability, she will be able to bring her parents closer together. When the question of who will be the next person to enter the space arises, she writes the name of the man whom her mother likes. And because of him she doesn't pay attention in her husband. Her mother is well when she sends him into space. Her mom becomes fine. She begins to look after her family, and they become happy family. The second issue was that she was going to take her brother outside. Her brother will come out and greet everyone, she adds in the following response. However, her plan fails since her brother does not appear. But her father goes to her brother's room and asks when you'll stop doing this, come out. This has created a split in their family. Her father's job isn't going well, she knows. His sales aren't going well, so her mother starts talking to a lot of people. She discovers that the situation is solved for the time being and that it has a temporary remedy. She goes to her brother's room because she needs to do something. And she starts reading the text incorrectly, but he does not correct her. Later, she receives a math question for which she has no response. She intends to avoid the question, and her brother promises her that he will assist her in answering it. Things were gradually improving for Yasuka, who was excelling in her studies. Her brother approaches Yasuka and attempts to converse with her, but he remains in his room. In her room, he was assisting her in answering her inquiries, but now he talks to her. Everything appears to be in her favor. Her mother, on the other hand, has deleted a large number of strangers. She starts devoting more attention to her family. Her father, on the other hand, was devising methods to track sales. Gradually things were getting better. Yasuka gets overjoyed when she receives 100 marks without any assistance. She tells her brother but he can't come out. He doesn't say anything, and he doesn't congratulate her. She is depressed as a result of her lousy mood. She was at the dinner table with her parents. Her brother appears and apologizes to her father. She was going with a friend the next day. She has a torn up test paper from her bag. It was her test paper. She received a score of 5 and began to correct the work. She notices the route of a path that has vanished. It has now again emerged from she'd gone to the shrine. She understands that this way has been generated because of this test paper. She travels to the temple in this manner, wishing to repair everything that has been harmed. But nothing goes as planned, and she gets dissatisfied. The next day, we see that Yasuka has to undergo from the geography test. She believes that her desires have been granted because she has been given a coin. She believes that once she returns the coin, everything will be alright. She finishes her paper and goes to the location to look for the coin. She discovers that the coin has been placed in a locked box. She struggles to extract the box from the stick. We notice Yasuka's sibling conversing with his father on the other side. His father was looking forward to the future. He was quite excited for his life. Yasuka's mother also apologizes to her husband for ignoring him in the past. On the other hand, Yasuka's teacher is examining the tests. When Yasuka's test comes around, He gives her 100 marks as usual. Yasuka, on the other hand, takes the coin from the box. When she brings the coin out again, it falls into the box. Later, a light appears, and we notice Yasuka isn't with the shrines. Not only Yasuka, but no one else from the school, was also there. The city was deserted, and we can see that the entire world has become deserted. We don't see anyone there, actually a new magic happens there. It was actually a last question that Yasuka had missed a question. It was about the world's Ligra population. This question has been left blank by Yasuka in order for the population of the world disappeared. This film ends